Hi, my name is Paige. Welcome to my August wrap-up. I don't really know what happened last month, but I somehow read 29 books, so I'm going to try and wrap them all up for you pretty easily. It will help that I did read a lot of books for certain videos, so my full thoughts will be in those videos, so I don't have to talk about every single book in depth in this video, but I have a few stats that I can give you, and then we will talk about all of these books that are, I can't even see, on these two shelves. So for my star ratings, I had 7 5-star reads, 16 4-star reads, 5 3-star reads, and 1 2-star read, which I feel like was a really great reading month. I think August was my best reading month by far in so long. And then for the way that I read them, I read 22 books through audiobooks. I read 3 books physically, and I read 4 books as a mix of listening to the audiobook and reading along physically. So 29 books. I spent 298 hours apparently on audiobooks, but I would say probably divide that in half because I usually read my audiobooks at 2 times speed. So, you know, still a lot of hours. That's a lot of hours that I was reading. But yeah, let's talk about these books. Okay, so for this chunk right here, I read Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell, Book Lovers by Emily Henry, A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall, Flashfire and Heatwave, both by TJ Klune, and I read Defy the Night by Brigid Kemmerer, and I read them for a vlog where I read the books that I was the most excited about, and I will link that vlog for you right here. But basically, these turned out freaking amazing. I loved every single book that I read in that vlog. It was my greatest time of the month. I was just genuinely so happy to get to read all of these. So if you want to see all of my in-depth thoughts on them, you can watch that video. But seriously, these were so good. I think these are probably my stack of some of my favorite books of the entire month. I just love these. I love these so much. I hope that you go and watch that video because I had so much fun making that entire video. And then for by far the worst book of the month, it was Oh William by Elizabeth Strout. I read this in the vlog where I went to Santa Barbara with my mom and we both picked out a book for each other, and the book she picked out for me was not great. But I did share my thoughts on why I thought it was terrible in that vlog if you want to watch it. But essentially this was the 3rd book in the series, and I didn't know that because the book doesn't tell you anywhere on it that it is the 3rd book. So I had no clue what was going on, and I hated the writing style. And for another video that is already out, which is the rom-comathon vlog that I put out, I read both The Charm Offensive and The Deal. This one is by Elle Kennedy, and this is by Alison Cochrun. Unsure if I'm saying that name right, but I had thoughts on both of them. One of them I think I preferred more than the other. Guess which one? But you can watch that video there to see all of my thoughts, but essentially I liked both of them. They were a good time. Nothing outstanding in my opinion, but still a good time. I don't know when this wrap-up is going out, so it might be before or after the video that I read these 5 books, but I will try and remember to link it too if you want to watch it. But I read Last Night in Montreal by Emily St. John Mandell, Local Woman Missing by Mary Kubica, Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid, Pretty Things by Janelle Brown, and Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. And I definitely had mixed opinions on all of these books. I would say for the most part they're pretty wildly different. A good chunk of them were thriller. One of them is more romance, and the other one I couldn't even tell you what it was about, but that video should be out already or up soon so you can see all of my thoughts on these books. But I would say I had a mostly positive experience reading these 5. Mostly positive. And it might be a little while until this video comes out, but I read All Quiet on the Western Front by Eric Maria Remarque, and I really did enjoy this one. I read Dracula by Bram Stoker, and I am still unclear how I feel about this one. The Push by Ashley Audrian. I had thoughts. I definitely had thoughts on this one. And I read We Hunt the Flame and We Free the Stars by Hafsa Faisal. And again, those thoughts will come out in that vlog in a few weeks. I'm not entirely certain on my timelines right now. But this vlog was definitely an experience. It was an experience. I had some ups, I had some downs. Again, I'm sorry I can't talk about them all yet, but I did read all of these. And 2 more books I am not yet going to talk about is Goodbye Paradise and Hello Forever by Serena Bowen. I just recently read them. That vlog should not be out for quite a while. I don't think it might take me a little bit, but I did read those. Goodbye Paradise was a reread. I think I rated it 4 4 stars the first time, and I will let you know how I feel about it the second time around. But now that all that boring I can't talk about it stuff is out of the way, here are books that I actually can talk about because I did not read them for any vlogs. Let's start out with the Barbarian Aliens. I read 3 of them. This is just kind of like my placeholder so that I remember to talk about it. But I read Barbarian Mine, Barbarian's Prize, and Barbarian's Mate. And I read them just because there were some audiobooks that didn't take me quite to the end of my workday, so I had about 2 to 3 hours left, and these audiobooks are like 5 to 6 hours. I read on 2 times speed, so I read them very, very quickly, and I think I'm done with Barbarian Aliens. I think I have hit my limit. I'm at book 7, I believe, and I just don't care anymore. The series is just about these women who were abducted from Earth, and then they kind of get dropped onto this ice planet, and all of these blue alien men essentially resonate with them, and they make a bunch of babies. And it was fun for a while, but I feel like around this time, book 7, it's all starting to be the same. All of these girls are the same. All of these men are all the same. All of their spice scenes are all the same, so I'm a little bit just over it. I might eventually pick it back up if I need a few short reads here and there, but they're okay. They're not great. Will I buy all of these cute covers for them? Yes. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. But, you know, it is what it is. They're they're not groundbreaking, but I had a good time for the most part. I definitely got a little bored towards the end of this latest book, Barbarian's Mate. I couldn't even tell you their names, honestly. At this point, like, I don't know, and they introduced 2 new characters, and I just don't care. I don't care anymore. So those, but I think I still gave them all 3 to 4 stars. So will I probably jump back into the series eventually? Probably, yeah, but like I'm kind of bored. I'm kind of not. I don't know how do I feel about blue aliens anymore. But there were babies. There were babies, which were cute. Moving on. We're done talking about aliens. For the Story Continue book club, we read Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sulin, and this is about the daughter of the moon goddess. Her name is Xiing, and she is supposed to be a secret because her mother never revealed that she had a child, and her mother got imprisoned on the moon for drinking the elixir of immortality that was not gifted to her but was gifted to her husband, and so she is banished to the moon and can never return down to the kingdom or the earthly land that they live on. And because her daughter is a secret, one part of the kingdom kind of goes up to the moon to check on everything. Xiing needs to leave the moon so that her mother doesn't get in trouble for having a daughter, and when she gets down to Earth, I think is where they are, the celestial kingdom is what they call it, she is on a quest to then free her mother from her imprisonment. So she goes about trying to get in the favor of the celestial kingdom so that she can be granted her single wish of releasing her mother from imprisonment. And the writing is beautiful. I did enjoy the characters after a while, but the pacing of the story was super hard for me to get behind. It felt like a lot of stuff happened, where I personally think that this single book could have been broken into like 4 or 5 different books if we would have expanded on every single storyline, because it just felt like we were following her as she found a trial or a task that she needed to complete, and then within a few chapters, pages even, she would complete that trial, and then there would be something else that she would need to complete, and then again within a few pages or even a few chapters she would complete that trial as well. So it just felt very clunky as we just witnessed all of her triumphs and not a lot of her struggles, and there was a lot of telling and not showing in this book. There's also a love triangle that comes out of fucking nowhere, and it's resolved in such a weird way. So it wasn't my favorite, but I feel like I would definitely pick up another book by Sulin because I did enjoy the way that it was written. I don't know. The pacing wasn't great. The characters and the overall storyline were good. So I'm a little iffy on this one. I gave it 3 stars. I could see it being bumped up a little bit to a 4-star read. I just couldn't get behind the pacing of it. So not my favorite, but it also wasn't terrible. Before I forget to even talk about it, because I read it through audiobook and I don't have the the physical copy. I read Yes and I Love You by Roni Loren towards the end of the month, and I really liked it. I saw that Nat had once said that she read it and loved it, so I decided to pick it up because I trust her opinions, especially on romance books. So I read it and I really liked it. It's about a character named Holland, right? I'm not calling her an Ice Planet Barbarian name. I think, yeah, Ice Planet was Harlow. Her name is Holland, and she is a writer, but she kind of writes under a pseudonym named Miss Poppy, I believe, because she has Tourette's, and her Tourette's make her facial muscles spasm, and it looks like she's twitching her nose, and she's been made fun of that throughout her entire life. So she really hides beneath her Miss Poppy persona, and she critiques shows and movies and different places around the city that they live in. I believe they're in New Orleans. Maybe. I could be mixing. I read 29 books, you guys. I'm mixing up a lot of settings. But her love interest, Josh? Might not be Josh. It might be Jake or something. It could be a J name. I don't really know. He is the barista at her work, thinks that she doesn't really like him, so they get off on like a bit of a bad first impressions. But when her boss tells her that she has to reveal her face for her to continue writing within her company, she asks Josh to help her because he is into improv and he's an actor, and so she wants him to help her be more confident so that she can do a face reveal and continue on with her job. And these two were literally so precious together. They are just so supportive and so kind. I loved these two together. 100%. They were so sweet. I don't know why I didn't give this book a 5-star. I might need to up it to 5 stars because it was a good time. I had such a good time. But there is an older sister in this book who like gets on the brother for not having his life together at 25 years of age, and it was very rude and it hurt me a lot. So we need to stop pretending that people in their mid to late 20s have to have their life figured out, because it's hard out here, okay? It's hard out here. But I love this book. It was so sweet. These two were they were so good together. They were so good together. I loved it. And another romance that I read this month was Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake. And this is about Delilah Green. And she basically pretends that she doesn't care about anything and that nothing hurts her and that she is above feeling emotional pain. But essentially she had grown up with her dad and a stepmom and a stepsister. Her dad passes away and her stepmom has to raise her, and her stepmom's not really treating her very great. And Delilah also doesn't quite get along with her stepsister, but 10 or so years later they are now adults, and she has a weird relationship with her sister, but her sister says, hey, you are a photographer, I'm getting married, you need to do all of my photography. So Delilah agrees because it's family. She goes back to the town that she grew up in and meets one of, or is reintroduced to, Claire, who is Delilah's stepsister's friend, and they form a relationship. You know, I don't fully remember everything that happened. I remember there being a bit of a deadbeat dad in this that everyone forgave. I also feel like they forgave a lot of the mean girl antics and just like brushed it off as like, oh, we were just in high school and that's just how people are. And I wasn't fully sold on these two being in love by the end of it, but it was an easy read. It was fun. I don't remember much else about it. I think I gave it 4 stars, but maybe I'm thinking I should have given it 3 because it's like not really sticking with me. Yeah, I think that there were some problems with it. I just don't feel like this was as deep as other Ashley Herring Blake books that I've read. The other ones that I've read by her just like hit different, and this one was okay. But will I pick up the next one in the series? Absolutely. It's Astrid's book, which is the stepsister, and I just want to see where that goes. The what's it called? Synopsis? Summary of it, just, it surprised me. It surprised me when I read that one, so I'm intrigued by that. In this month, I finally finished my reread of Wolfsong that I have been reading since January, because me and Serena told each other we were going to annotate a book for each other and send it, and we gave ourselves a 3-month deadline, and it's now been like 6 or 7 months. But I did go, and you can't see anything, can you? There we go. I annotated a lot of it. I even wrote her notes in it. But like, can you see it when I'm flipping through? No. But they're there. They're there. You know, this was heartbreaking again for the 2nd time, but I loved it even more the 2nd time. If I can give a book 10 stars, Wolfsong would get 10 stars. The Green Creek series is just so freaking good. It's just so good. Let me calm down, process my thoughts. If you don't know what the Green Creek series is, it's about werewolves in a small town in Oregon called Green Creek. But it starts out with Ox's story, and he is a young man who his father leaves, and it's just him and his mom growing up, and he's like trying to be a good man. You know, he doesn't want to show that he has emotions. He doesn't want people to think that he's weak, but he's just a precious little bean of a boy. But it's about him growing up and the found family that he has in Green Creek, but then the Bennett family moves in and he grows a bond with them, and it's about his connection with this group of werewolves, and it's about family and heartbreak and grief, and it has every single emotion you could think of in this one book. And I cried my entire way through it the second time. I think I cried worse the second time, so that's why it kind of took me a while, because I knew the sad parts were coming and I just had to step away and not sob my eyes out for a few months at a time. But it's great. If I haven't sold you on any of TJ Klune's books yet, like, I've been failing spectacularly, but I need you to read this one. I absolutely need you to read this one. Like, here's a line from the book. "And here comes the part where the really attractive people get naked," Rico said, "and most of them are related," which isn't weird at all. It's funny, it's heartbreaking, it's sweet, it's romantic, it's just, it's everything I could hope for in a book. And I'm going to reread this book 100 million times in my lifetime. I just know it. So, Wolfsong, amazing, beautiful, 10 million out of 10 million stars. Read it, pick it up right now. Just do it. Actually, it's kind of out of print. At least this version, because Tor is picking it up and publishing it in another beautiful version. So I'm gonna have like 40 different copies of Wolfsong. It's a problem. TJ Klune, come on man, come on man. Stop making beautiful editions. I don't have the money for this. But for my surprise of the month, the book that I honestly didn't want to pick up when Serena told me to read it, the book that I started to read, considered DNFing within the first chapter, but became my favorite book of the month, Middlegame by Seanan McGuire. This took me by surprise. I honestly knew really nothing going into it. I had heard people talk about it, but the book is so confusing to explain that the synopsis of it didn't stick in my mind. So when I started to read it, I had like a vague understanding about what it was about, but I just didn't really understand how good this book is. Do I have the capability to explain what this is about? No. But essentially it's about sets of twins who are like created to basically bring about the destruction of the earth, but they are separated at birth, and because of the way that they were made, they just have this intense connection to each other and want to find their way back to each other throughout their entire lives despite being separated. And this is one of those like heartbreaking books about like platonic soulmates that you just feel for them the entire time. You just want them to be together, but you also understand why they can't be together. And this book is told in such a strange way where you get the ending at the very beginning and you're trying to figure out what the hell that ending was, and it's so good. I don't know what else to say about it. I just felt like it was a huge mindfuck of a book at some points. Everything made sense though. Everything felt like it was explained, and I was connected to every single side character, at least the good ones. There were some bad ones that I like, they were just horrible people. But I cried when a few characters got hurt. I felt devastated for Roger and Dodger, the two twins that are in this book, and I cried for them at multiple occasions. I don't know what to say about this book. I don't even want to try and explain it because I don't think I could get it right. I just loved it. It was such a surprise, but I've heard terrible things about the second book in this universe, so I don't think I will continue on with that second book because this one was just so good, and I'm happy to end here. Everything wrapped up the way that I wanted it to, but I love this so much. It was such a surprise. I will say for the audiobook though, there are two characters where the narrator makes their voices the most annoying voices I have ever heard in an audiobook in my life. Like, there are some audiobooks that the narrators aren't great, but the voices that she chose for two characters made me want to rip out my ears, rip them out. But the rest of her characters were very good. So like, it matched the character that she was doing, but it was awful to listen to at some points. but the book is just so damn good. It's so damn good. So this was definitely my highest rated of the entire month, not including Wolfsong. Like that one's just like an all-time for me favorite, but I just really loved it. If you haven't picked this one up yet, I definitely would recommend it. It's also nice to kind of not know a lot going into this one so that you can be just as surprised by the different twists and turns and the reveals that happen in this. So yeah, this was my favorite of the month. So I hope this video wasn't too long, but yeah, those are the 29 books that I read in August. I will probably never ever read that many books again, but I guess we will see how September turns out. But I hope you like this video. If you did, leave the thumbs up emoji. I don't know, I was just doing this right now. And I guess I will just see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.